Wow, guys, it has been 1 year since part 2 released. Man, does time fly. Seriously. Like, sometimes I just think about it and I actually cannot believe that part 2 has been out for a year now. I remember when this game actually got delayed, when it got indefinitely delayed. Like, I remember I was at work, someone posted a video on YouTube saying that the game got delayed, and my heart just sank. Because even to this day, I have never been more hyped for not only a video game, but anything. Movies, books, whatever. I've never been more hyped for anything. The release of Last of Us Part 2. So, in this video, I kind of want to just talk about, just the game coming out like a whole year ago. I feel like where a lot of the community was a year ago, and I think for the most part, it's kind of been the same. But I just want to share my experience and how I went from completely not on board with how Neil and Naughty Dog decided to make the story of part 2. I just want to talk about how I went from that all the way till now, because I've played the game now about 5 or 6 times from beginning to end, and like where I stand with this game now, it's completely different. Like I really do love this game. Main thing I want to talk about though, like just one thing that this game has taught me, which has changed my life, it's been perspective. I think one of the most important things that someone can learn, if they can fully understand it, I think perspective goes a long way. I think if you can look at people and try and put yourself in their shoes, try and understand where they're coming from, I feel like a lot of arguments in life, I feel like a lot of people butting heads, I feel like it wouldn't happen, because most of the time, we get stuck in our own ways and we think that we're right and they're wrong, and my way of thinking is superior to their way of thinking. I mean, part 2 taught me one thing I can take away is perspective. And they teach you by, Naughty Dog and their storytelling, The whole thing about perspective is that, what Joel did in the first game, it caught up with him in the second game. Every action has a reaction. So at the time, Joel thought, okay, I saved Ellie, now we're back in Jackson, everything's good, it's been 5 years later. And then we get introduced, obviously, to Abby, and she kills them. Of course, everyone has the right to be upset, and everyone should be upset. I mean, I think most of us can agree, Joel Miller is the best video game character ever created. So seeing him being killed off so early in the game, and the way that he was killed, it was horrible. I will admit that. Like, even now, when I watch clips of it, I can't help but tear up, Like, the game still emotionally moves me to this day. So yeah, as I've obviously said, perspective is the one thing that I've learned the most, that I've fully understood. The only reason why Abby did what she did is because she thought it would bring father back, and it obviously didn't. And if you pay close enough attention to her face, as soon as it shows us Abby's perspective of killing Joel, she just looks disgusted with herself. She's like, what did I just do? Like this doesn't make me feel any better. Like, this is not going to bring my dad back. I just realized that, and then she goes off on her own way back to Seattle doing what she used to do, She's kind of lost in life because she spent so many years in weights, fully focused on killing Joel. When she finally did it, it wasn't satisfying at all. And thankfully, she does get a new life purpose, an actual meaningful one that will bring her happiness, and that's when she runs across and is rescued by Yara and Lev. It's the whole dynamic with her and Lev, and it's kind of like, like Yara and Lev is like an alternate reality version of Joel and Ellie from the first game. And I really like that because honestly, Abby as a character by herself, I really like her, but her with Lev, I seriously, seriously love that. Like, I really do appreciate what Naughty Dog did. Honestly, I'm fully convinced that there will be a part 3. I actually want it to be just about Abby and Lev, like their next chapter in life. Because when I first played it, I was going to YouTube, watching everyone's opinions on the video or opinions on the game, and that changed my opinions, which isn't, well, it's what I thought of the game at first, but it only amplified it. I hadn't played the game enough in order to fully understand the context of the story about my third or fourth playthrough. But after my first playthrough, when I watched someone give their predictions for part 3 on what could potentially be the story, and they were saying it'll probably be Abby and Lev, and Ellie might not even be in it. And at the time, I was not on board. I was like, if they're gonna do that, I don't even want a part 3. Let's just end it at part 2, and let's just move on, make a new IP or whatever. Actually, I honestly, truly hope. I mean, I know Neil said recently that, and Hallie Gross they started an outline part 3, which makes me really happy because ever since part 2 released, I always thought that there was going to be a part 3. I just thought they couldn't end it on that note. I don't know what they're going to do with part 3, but honestly, I actually really hope Lev and Abby come back and that they're the main characters. We just see the next chapter in their life. I actually really do care about them. I really care about, not only Abby, but Lev as well. For those of you that have made it this far in the video, if I could just say one thing to you. If you guys haven't played this game, if you saw the leaks and you were completely turned off by this game and you haven't played it yet, maybe you've told yourself that you're never going to play it, please just play the game. Don't go to YouTube and watch the gameplay. Don't just watch the cutscenes. You have to experience this game with the controller in your hand, just fully immersed in the story. And I promise you, it might not take one walkthrough, it might take 4 or 5 like it did for me. But if you just pay attention to the story, I promise you, you will understand why this story had to be told. Oh, of course, it's not the story that most of the fans would want. I don't think anyone wanted Joel to die, but it's the story that needed to be told. And I think no matter how much backlash this game got, I feel like maybe in 5, 10, 20 years, when all of us look back on this game, we're gonna appreciate and we're gonna thank not only Neil, but everyone that worked on this game for almost a decade, that we can start to appreciate it now and not 10 years from now. The amount of hate that Naughty Dog got on this game, it just wasn't right. It really broke my heart when I saw all the horrible things that were said to Neil and all the developers and just everyone that works at Naughty Dog. I just felt really bad. So yeah, guys, I guess the last thing I want to say before I close this video out is I just want to congratulate Naughty Dog. I want to congratulate Neil Druckmann, everyone that worked on this game, because, as I said earlier, I think this is, all things considered, I think this is the best game that's ever been made. And I think a game like this deserves to be celebrated. It's been 1 year. Who knows what Naughty Dog's working on next? We might not ever get another game as polished and just a technical marvel like part 2. So I think today we should just really just send love, happy thoughts to Naughty Dog, because they worked extremely hard in this game, and you can clearly tell if you've played the game that Naughty Dog cares about these characters, they care about this universe, and they care about the fans. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would seriously appreciate it if you would share with your friends, if you would leave a like, comment, what's your whole opinion on part 2? Did you ever play it? Did you get spoiled? Just let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.